Hey everybody, so I want to share with y'all a process I'm going through right now with my health, and I'm believing that God is going to completely heal me. So back in 2024, the beginning of January, I remember I was sitting in my living room and noticed how every time I try to drink something, it became hard for me to swallow it. Like it would cause bad chest pain, bad. Then it was like that for months, and then it like later on it went to my stomach. So I began to have these horrible stomach problems. Like it'll wake me up in the middle of the night, and it's like this type of pain that I can't even describe. It was so excruciating and it hurted. I remember going to the hospital and they did a CT, and they were telling me that they couldn't find anything in the CT, the first hospital I went to. Then they did a ultrasound too, because I was having pain in my stomach and the right part of my abdomen. I was having abdominal pain. And I remember I was laying on the bed as the lady was doing the ultrasound. I remember God spoke clear to me. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Neither be thou dismayed, for I am your God. Yes, I will help you, and yes, I will strengthen you. Yes, I will hold you up with my righteous right hand. And I remember just sitting there, laying there, and I remember just receiving it. But they told me they didn't find anything, but I was having all of these pains, but they couldn't find anything. Now it's been about almost a month now, and I wasn't having any pains. So February, they wanted to do a follow-up. I still had to follow up with the doctor. So the hospital recommended that I at least get in touch with like a gastrointestinal type doctor. So I found one, and it was now February 1st. So when I went there, the doctor was asking me questions like, how are you feeling? Are you still having these pains? And I just said, nope, 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 everything. Like everything was going fine. I was thanking God because those pains, it was hurting. And then they wanted me to have an EGD, which when you go under, they put you to sleep, they go under, they go check and look and see if they can find anything. But I remember the Lord at that time telling me like not to go through that. So I didn't do that. I just said, no, I just won't go through it. I'll just wait. So I remember as I waited, then later on the pain started to come back. But this is like a while back, because I wasn't able to eat certain foods. I noticed like garlic and tomatoes and onions and all that stuff will like flare up my stomach. So then later also I remember with this IBS stuff, it causes you to have like constipation. You're constipated a lot, bloated, and then you can vomit, and you lose a lot of weight. Like I lost a lot of weight. I remember I was looking in the mirror because I had lost a lot of weight. Like I got skinny. You could see my clavicle bone and stuff. And I remember the Lord spoke to me clear as day. Don't focus on your weight. Focus on me. And I remember, you know, like we got the bone on the back where our bottom is, where our butt is. Like I lost so much weight to where I can hold and grip that bone. I know that may be a lot, but that's how much weight I lost. It was after I gave birth to my third daughter is when all of this stuff started happening, and I went from 175 pounds because I had just gave birth to her, and it happened like some months after I gave birth to her, not just so quick. But I went from 175 to 135. Like with this stuff, you'll lose a lot of weight. Said I had IBS, so they try to say it was IBS that caused the irritable bowel syndrome. So later on, I started to have the stomach pains again. And I remember just being in my daughter's room, and I was just crying out in prayer, like, God, this hurts. Take this pain away from me. Like, take this away. And I remember giving him back his word. I said, you healed the lady with the issues of blood. She touched the hem of Jesus. Like, heal me because this hurts, just giving him back to his word. And I remember the pain just went away. And I went through a period for a while. I was able to eat what I wanted, drink. I was able to eat everything that I wanted with no problems. But then I had to go to but another point I had to go through was I had to change my diet. I was eating gluten-free bread. Like everything was gluten-free, and that was helping me. But then as I was eating gluten free for like 3 months, I stopped eating it, and then I went back to eating what I want, and I was fine for like a whole almost a year. So a year or so go by, and then I end up getting pregnant with my fourth daughter, and I just recently had her. So I just had in total I had three EGDs. I went on a 3 times. The first time they found a 4 centimeter mass, and they found some polyps. And I remember that when I had my appointment with the doctor, he was trying to recommend me to have Whipple surgery. And I remember as he was writing down on the paper of what it looks like and what's going on, I remember just crying. And I remember as soon as I was crying, God gave me his word again. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I'm with you. Neither be thou dismayed, for I'm your God. Yes, I will help you. Yes, I will strengthen you. Yes, I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. And as I was sitting there crying about it, because when you think about that stuff, you just think of it. I just had to keep holding on to what God was telling me. And I remember after a while, I just been able to eat. I didn't have no pain. Like I haven't been having any pains. The last hiccup I just had with this was in a little bit after I gave birth to my daughter. So it was like 3 months ago. I had one of those little episodes, and that was it. And it wasn't as excruciating as the first time that I was having all these pains. I remember praying like, Lord, take this away. And the doctor was recommending me to get Whipple surgery. But I was like, I'm not doing that. So he's recommending me to do it. And what the doctor said was to where I was like, He said, I'm not really worried about removing the stuff from your body because they have to remove, what he says, it's a lot of stuff that they would have to remove because it's connected to the blood of where the mass and the polyps is. And he's like, he's not concerned about remove or the gallbladder. And thank you, Holy Spirit. He said he's not more concerned of what for taking the stuff out of me, but he's more concerned and worried about putting me back together. And that's when I was like, no, I'm not having no Whipple surgery. Whipple surgery is a major surgery that you have to spend 3 weeks in the hospital, and it takes a long time to heal. And I just been believing God that God is going to completely heal me from this. So I just recently went under, like 2 months ago. I just recently went under, and the first time I went back, let me go back. The first time I went under, they found the massive polyps in one, but now that I recent EGD I just went under, they found it in a different part. So it's like they not even talking about the other part. And then when I woke up from being put under and from the same doctor checking me, which is one doctor who does the EGDs and it's another doctor that does the surgery. And the doctor who did the EGD, when I woke up, he said, yeah, I talked to such and such doctor. I'm not going to mention their names. He said, yeah, you no longer have to have the Whipple surgery. It's just going to be a smaller procedure, like a smaller surgery. So I thank God, that it went from, this major surgery to this little surgery, but I'm still not getting that surgery because I'm still trusting God. And I know God is Jehovah Rapha, that he will heal my body. So I know if God is doing all this, he's showing me, and I'm just keeping the faith. God gave me 6 promises, and I've been holding on to those promises. I'm not going through that. I'm not doing that. Because when they found the mass and polyps the first time, thank God that they're all benign, so I thank God for that. But I told the doctor I want to get a second opinion. He was like, yeah, I think that's very smart. He said, and really, to be honest, this is very odd. This is like, for someone your age, you're very young. He said, we don't see young patients in here like this. So he said, this is just, different. It's odd. He said, so I recommend that because this is your health. He said, I highly recommend that. But it seemed like every time I wanted to get a second opinion, nothing went through. Like, oh, this doctor don't do this, or oh, this doctor's no longer here. Like, God is in control and God knows what he's doing. So I'm just believing God, keeping the faith, and knowing that God is going to fully, completely heal me. I remember telling God, like, hey, God, like, you put Adam to sleep and you took a whole rib out of him and made a woman. Like, you did that. Like, I know you can put me to sleep, take this stuff up out of me. And I just been praying, Lord, let this stuff disappear, disintegrate, dissipate. Same way it grow, it got to ungrow in Jesus' name. By Jesus' stripes, I am healed. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 5. So I just been believing God, and I'm not getting no surgeries. I'm holding on to that. Like, I'm not going through no surgeries. I got another appointment recently coming. I'm going to try to keep y'all updated with this because I can't wait to give y'all the full-blown testimony of how God healed me. So I just hope this encourages somebody out there who may be going through some type of health or sickness or disease. Like, keep your faith in God. Don't let the enemy, try to get through your head. Just praise and worship God and keep standing on the promise of God. God said by his stripes, By the stripes of the Son, what Jesus Christ did for us, we are healed, So we got to keep believing and keeping the faith, that faith, and just continue to give God back his word and keep your focus and your eyes on God. Don't let what the enemy is trying to do to your body, to whatever, to try to get you distracted or whatever. Just continue to pray and leave it in God's hands, because God is sovereign. He's Lord, and he has the final say over your life. So I love y'all, and I hope this encourages and helps somebody. But I'm just holding on, trusting God, because I know God is going to do it. And I can't wait to share that testimony. All right. I love y'all. Bye-bye.